Hey guys, it's your boy Ronnie Rice, attorney at law, doctor, PhD. I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm smart, but I ain't that smart. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like always, subscribe, man. Share, leave a comment. Um, hey man, this is how we get the good word out, man. Everybody's always asking me for questions. I get a ton of calls from on my law side, ask me the most random questions. So my thing is I want to make sure that, it's some content out there. So you guys don't feel like you have to always call a lawyer, yada, yada, yada. So what I want to talk to you guys today is how to demystify contracts. When I say demystifying contracts, basic elements of contracts, okay? It's offer, acceptance, and a mutuality. That's it, okay? Y'all like, okay, all right, guys. All right, Ryan, now you're going on this tangent. Let me go ahead and write it out for you guys. All right, offer. There has to be, hey, I'm going to, I have, like my line guy. So, okay, he comes to me and say, hey, I came to him and say, hey, do you mind mowing my lawn? He's like, sure. Um, that was my offer. His acceptance was sure. Mutuality, or the meeting of the minds, as they would say, is, well, what's your address? How big is your yard? How much you gonna charge me? Yada yada yada. That's the mutuality. There's this famous court case where a guy got drunk at a bar and wrote this contract on a piece of paper for the sale of land for dirt cheap. And actually, in that case, that contract stood. You have this thing called statute of frauds. If it's over a certain amount of dollars, it has to be in writing. Not always. It doesn't necessarily has to be, but if it's not, we got something we call unilateral or bilateral agreements. It simply says by a person doing something by performance that create a contract. So let's say if you're talking to that same lawn guy and you haven't said yes or no, or he hasn't said yes or no, but the fact that I paid him or he just went on ahead and mowed the lawn, they created a contract. So like just one party just did something, automatically create a contract. Bilateral contract basically says that one party has to do this person has to do another thing and to actually format the contract. So let's start it off. Basic contracts. What you want to do is, if you don't know anything, the who, what, when, where, how. Very simple. Everybody learned that in elementary school when you were writing. The who, what, when, where, how. Okay. The who. All right. Who are the parties? Where? What is being conducted where? Okay. Is it a certain location that y'all want to do this? The who, what, when, goodness gracious, when is it a timestamp on it? Is it that you want it done in a week? You want it done in a couple of days? Do you want it, whatever it is? The what is the extra service or product? Everything in this world that's being sold is either going to be a product or a service. That is what it is. I mean, the oldest profession in the world, which I'm not sure you guys know what it is, but it is, something that the Bible doesn't like. But it's technically the oldest profession in the world, but it's a service. So, you want to have the who, what, when, where, and how. How do you want to get done? Most guiding principle of a contract is workman's like quality. So let's say if you have hire a contractor to come, build out a room in your house, that contractor has to do it in a way that is a standard. Like, hey, you can't, for example, when you walk up the stairs have to be a certain distant depth and it has to be a certain height. So a lot of people don't understand that. Like, and that's code, right? But everybody knows that. Reason why is because if you don't create that, how many times have you walked up a set of stairs and didn't even realize like the height or the height or the depth of the stairs, and you tripped? Or the little yellow line that when you walk into a restaurant or a business, and it's like, let's say it's an inch and a half, 2.5 inch lip step up. You have to have that up there. So workman's like construction. Another thing is, what are the basic elements of a contract? No, we always said the offer, acceptance, and mutuality, the who, what, when, where, how. If you have those basic elements, you're good. You don't have to have all of them, and it doesn't have to necessarily be written either. It's preferred to be written. I tell everybody, you want to have it written because when it comes to arguments or somebody has a different perspective, you can always go back to the contract. And in the courtroom, if you have something written down, the judge is going to go by the elements of that contract. So you'll be surprised. I was talking to a guy the other day, yesterday, who loaned somebody $75,000, and it was a promissory note. And the guy was supposed to have the money paid back, I think, in 3 months with a $25,000 interest payment, basically. And the guy didn't do it, and it's been over a year. Think about if that guy would have just given that $75,000 without any type of promissory note. Also, that takes out a lot of the argument back and forth in courts. A lot of times when you don't have something written down, it's hard for a judge or a jury or the opposing counsel to say, okay, all right, well, we at least concede that these are the issues, versus, hey, I told him I was gonna give him 75. You told him you're gonna give him 75,000, and this is what he said he was gonna do. And now you got to produce text messages. You recorded, phone calls. Then you're trying to get videotape from, the facility you was at, the office you was at, and all this stuff, and trying to show not only was it a contract or agreement, but here were the terms of the contract. If you already have it written down, you're good. All right, some of the common contract pitfalls are: one, not having written; two, pricing; two, time limit. A lot of times, you don't want to leave a person too open on either side of completing a task or selling a product. So, for example, let's go back to the lawn service guy. You say, okay, hey, the guy wants to, mow the lawn, and some people mow lawns every week. Some people mow lawns every 2 weeks. Some people every 3 weeks or once a month. And it might be other ancillary yard duties that you might want to have do. Straw, like for me, straw, hedges, replanting plants, things of that nature. Hey, what are the terms of that, that you want to add into that? So the biggest pitfall that I see with contract is time limit. The third thing I would say is, I would say a pitfall of contracts is little to no collateral when you're talking about large lump sums of money. I always tell people, anything, whew, anything, especially over 20,000. Hey man, what you got that I can hold on to until you get your life together. You know what I'm saying? Like until this comes to fruition. You see a lot of real estate deals that happen and they collateralize the property. And that's always good. So if the deal falls, and let's say you loan somebody $100,000 to buy and renovate a property, but the property's only worth $60,000. At least you got hold to that $60,000 property you can take. Another pitfall I would say that's not necessarily in the contract is: are you dealing with somebody who works? Because once again, I was having this conversation yesterday, and for you guys, I need you guys to understand, when I talk or when I'm doing certain YouTube videos or podcasts, this is stuff that I've actually talked to people about. So this is not something that's just some far out stuff, some out of the sky. It's like, no, I'm telling you, I just had a 30-minute conversation with somebody about this yesterday. So that means that this is active, applicable today. If you loan somebody who doesn't have a job, who has a business, who hasn't provided any finances, who hasn't provided any certified tax records or anything like that, don't do it. Don't do it. Like, I'm all for people falling on hard times. I'm all about people needing help here and there. But hey, man, how long you been working? Where you work at? Are you working Social Security? Are you working at Social Security for 7 years? Oh, okay, cool. All right, I might let you borrow $3,000 to $5,000 because I can always take you to court and get a judgment and garnish your paycheck. But if you ain't got no source of income, and this is just I'm like the 20th person that you asked about, funds, and you never paid the other 19 people back, why would I be the 20th? Once again, this is not necessarily contracts, because I already hit the basic elements of contract, but it's like when you enter into a contract, some of the things you just need to be thinking of. Second thing I'll say is, if you got a lawyer, call me. 205-222-9815. I don't charge for consultations. I might start doing it now because like my calendar's getting booked now. Really, really, really a lot. And I think now some people just be calling. But call a lawyer. Ask the lawyer, hey man, can you do a background check on this guy? Now obviously you can't do a background check on somebody, illegal background check. But you can go into the system and see, hey, do they have any lawsuits out there? And what kind of lawsuits are there? Are they lawsuits because they owe somebody some money? The chances are you don't want to roll with it. Even with real estate deals, hey, is this person good at doing real estate deals? They might not. What is their experience? Even with lawn service, just home care, cleaning. What else? What's the typical one we talking about contracts that you see? Business, whether it's getting artists to come to perform, things of that nature. All these things that you need to look and say, okay, hey, has this person experience? Or is this person trying to use me as a way to get up and come up in life? And then the last thing I would say is, when drafting these agreements, can you draft the agreement yourself? Absolutely. I just told you the who, what, when, where, how. You hit those 5, you in the game. Hello, who, what, when, where, how. Yeah, 5. I had to make sure. You should be good. But if it's any substantial amount of money, service, or anything like that, where people are dealing with confidential information, NDAs, things of that nature, you want to have a lawyer draft them up. Are there templates out there? Absolutely, there are templates. But as you know, like anybody, and we all know, everybody's situation is different. You might be coming into business with a group of 5 people, business individuals, and they might say, "Oh, hey, here's our standard contract," but that may not mean the hill of beans to you, because your situation might be different. So let's recap. 1, the elements of contract: offer, acceptance, mutuality. What makes a valid contract? Written, statute of frauds of a certain amount of money. We'll just have that element in there: who, what, when, where, how. Write it down. No matter how much it is, just write it down. Avoid the pitfalls. Avoid people who probably don't have a job, has been in business for more than 5 years, things of that nature. And then as far as actually writing down a contract, I say I avoid templates. Templates are they are what they are. They're templates. They're boilerplate templates. And once again, everybody's situation is different. And what you're doing is, especially from a legal standpoint, you're relying on me to say, okay, hey, I have dealt with this kind of situation before, and here's some of the things that kind of safeguarded this person from, not being able to get their money, or being sued for something that somebody else has done. That's a big thing too. That's important as a contract as well. So, thank you guys for liking me. I try to keep these video shorts with it under 12 minutes. Follow us on social media. Get Rice Now, GETRICENOW. Give us a call, 205-222-9815. That is a textable number. That's an actual bona fide number. Like, share, subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you have any questions, give us a call. Thank you guys. You have a blessed day.